All right, these are the extra examples. Again, this is an optional video. You can fast forward if you want to. This is for rational coefficients, the notes that we took today on 418. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. Here are some more examples. Rational coefficients, which sometimes give some students issues. So the big idea here is to look for the coefficient. In this case, it is 0.4. It is a decimal. Always check to see what's happening with this. It's being times with the letter D, so I want to reverse that. Instead of times, I divide by 0.4. If I divide both sides by 0.4, I get 7 as an answer. And then, of course, I want to check my work. So I plug it back into the original. Okay, 0.4 times 7. Does that equal 2.8? And then, sure enough, you can check with your calculator, see that's true. Okay, next one. All right, so I kind of flipped it around for you. I put the variable on the right-hand side this time, but just find the variable term. You look for the coefficient. You say, all right, it's 6. I divide both sides by 6. Okay, that doesn't change anything. Negative 22.8 divided by 6 gives us this answer, and then I double check my work, and that works out to be correct. Okay, so no matter if it's on the left or it's on the right, you just find your variable term and look for that coefficient. Next one, let's deal with some fractions. Okay, so here we go. 7/8 x is equal to 5/6. So here's my coefficient. That's what I want to divide by. But remember, dividing with a fraction, I want to use a multiplicative inverse. I end up just multiplying both sides instead of dividing. I mean, you could write it like that, but ultimately I want to see it like this. Multiply by its reciprocal. So take this, you flip it, and you multiply on both sides. That allows me to cross these out. 8 and 8, 7 and 7, that's a 1x. That's eventually what I want for everything. And then here I can do some cross canceling. 6 and 8 makes 3 and 4. 5 and 7 are prime, so I can't do anything there. 5 times 4 is 20. 3 times 7 is 21. So my answer is 20 over 21. And then I can double check. Go back and put it back in the original equation. And then I could do some cross canceling if I prefer. 7 and 21, 8 and 20, and then multiply cross. All right, and it comes out 5/6, and that works out. Okay, got a few more examples for you. So let's take it a step further. Okay, so now I've got a mixed number over here. So what do I do? Well, my best suggestion to you is to change it to an improper fraction. Make life a little bit easier for you. Okay, so 8 times 3 plus 2 is 26 over 3 with a negative out front. Okay, so find my variable term. That is over here. My coefficient is negative 4/7. So in this case, I want to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal here is going to be negative 7/4. I multiply that on both sides. Okay, both sides. What this allows me to do is a negative times a negative is positive. The 4's cross out, the 7's cross out, and that gives me that 1v, that ninja 1v that I wanted. Over here, I could do a little bit of cross canceling, the 26 and 4. The 3 and the 7 can't. So then I have to multiply the rest. Negative 13 times negative 7 is 91. 3 times 2 is 6. So the answer is 91/6, or I can change it to a mixed number, which is 15/16. But then to check it, I would just use the improper fraction. Makes it a little easier. Go back to the original one. Plug it in. See if you can do some cross canceling. If not, just multiply straight across. And then reduce it. And you'll find out your answer right here works out to be correct. Okay, so just slightly variation on this one. You're just making it an improper fraction. Last example I have for you is this one here. Let's go again with some mixed numbers. Okay, here's a mixed number. I'm going to change that to an improper fraction just like this. 6 times 4 plus 1, 25/4. Okay, find your variable term. That's over here. The coefficient is right in front. So that's the one I'm going to go ahead and reverse and multiply. Changes to 5/3. Okay. Multiply by 5/3 on both sides. The right side is going to cross out, which is the whole goal. And on this other side, I do some simplification, just multiply. Now, no cross counting available, but I can just multiply straight across, and I get this, which reduces to to a mixed number as negative 10 and 5/12. So either one of these is my answer. I'd be okay with you leaving that. And then you just plug it in. Go back to original problem, plug it in right over here. I'll leave it as an improper fraction. And then you just check your work. Okay, and I just went through the process, plugged it in. 3 times 125 is 375. 5 times 12 is 60. How many times 60 go in there? It goes in 6 times with 1/4 left over. And so those are your answers there. All right, so hopefully that helped you out. It can get a little bit confusing. The main idea here is if it's a fraction, flip it and multiply both sides. If it's a decimal, just divide both sides by that. All right, that's it, and come to class with some questions if you need them.